This full session concerns bank finance for construction activities, sources of finance such as bank loans, real estate investment trusts, fractional real estate investment, the significance of real estate financing, types of construction finances, banks or non-banking financial companies providing finance for construction. Hello friends, this is Sanjay Arora. By profession, I am an advocate and I welcome all of you to my YouTube channel Legally Determined. With over 11% contribution to India's GDP, the real estate industry sector stands at a towering position at number 2 in terms of revenue generation. And it is estimated that its contribution to GDP will continue to grow and will have reached 13% by 2025. Infrastructural, retail, residential, and commercial space outlay is pointing at a business of over rupees 18 lakh crores by the next decade. Sources of finance. First, bank loans. Bank loans are one of the most favored options of potential investors. Taking a bank loan and paying back in EMIs is common. One of the biggest advantages of buying a property on loan is that the value of EMI keeps on decreasing while the value of the asset keeps increasing, thus creating a big advantage for the buyer. Furthermore, you can buy real estate with just 20% down payment and you repay the loan over a generous period of 20 years. Some of the other common benefits of home loans are low interest rates and low processing fees, interest on daily reducing balance, interest concession for women borrowers, no penalty on prepayment, and the availability of home loans as an overdraft. B. Real estate investment trusts. These are structured on similar lines of mutual funds and were officially introduced in India in 2014. These are securities linked to real estates that are traded on the stock exchange after their listing. Real estate investment trusts are considered a lucrative investment option and is a great potential investment with ongoing returns. One of the greatest advantages of the real estate investment trust is that it allows investment in grade A commercial realty, offering an addition to the investment portfolio. Furthermore, real estate investment trusts provide liquidity to investors as an alternate funding mechanism and are thus considered as a stable investment option. With regular returns, real estate investment trust is a transparent investment option with the Securities and Exchange Board of India, that is known as SEBI. C. Fractional real estate investment. Fractional real estate investment is slowly picking up in India after being successful in Europe and the USA. It is a new method of investment in commercial real estate and signifies combined ownership of a single asset by several investors together. Owing to high ticket sizes, a potential investor can sign up on the platform and invest in any of the current opportunities listed. This model opens up newer avenues of investment in fractions of premium commercial properties, thus increasing possibilities of earning monthly rental yield. Furthermore, fractional real estate investment offers great potential for retail investors who have limited access to CRE considering the high ticket prices. CRE means corporate real estate. CRE is the real property that a company owns or holds for the purpose of housing its operations. Third, importance of real estate financing and why you should consider it. Real estate investment is growing at a minimum of 30% CAGR, compound annual growth rate. CAGR is the mean annual growth rate of an investment over a specified period of time longer than 1 year. It represents CAGR represents one of the most accurate ways to calculate and determine returns for individual assets, investment portfolios, and anything that can rise or fall in value over time. RERA and Aadhaar are bound to mainstream the business of real estate in India. This will further bring more organized real estate players into the market, thus allowing higher and safer businesses for home finance companies. Greater the development of a country, lesser are the interest rates. Most developed economies have a sub 1% or even negative interest rates. The net NPA levels are lesser in home finance companies as compared to the banking sector. Due to the need and push for affordable housing, the housing finance domain anticipates the highest growth potential, followed by services, technology, and trading. It also guarantees fixed income, as investors are bound to get 3 times more of the sum than their 20 years loan from home finance. Commercial realty has also emerged as a resilient segment, and substantial traction is witnessed towards the grade A office space. Positive investment growth is also anticipated in the leasing of co-working spaces. Now we turn to the types of construction finances. First, land acquisition finance. Land acquisition finance, this type of loan is ideally to finance purchasing a plot of land identified for the development of a residential or a commercial construction project that is within the limits of the municipal corporation. This finance cannot be availed for purchasing agricultural land, although home loans may be offered for construction of a residential property on that piece of land. Second, construction loans. Construction loans are normally non-recourse loans where the project assets are held as collateral security and debt is serviced through cash flow yielded from the project. Such loans are backed by a detailed project report, DPR, company profile, project valuation report, cash flow projection, and credit history of the builder. The builder should be a seasoned builder who has a minimum experience of 3 projects or has completed construction in an area of 1 lakh square feet. Few advantages of opting for a construction loan are that the processing turnaround is quick, high chances of approval, and one can also enjoy flexible repayment terms. Loan installments are usually disbursed in phases based on the progress of the project. Third, inventory financing. For building projects, sample building material must be stocked up well in time. Hence, they need to be purchased in bulk. However, the gestation period for it to transform into the finished product is very high. Unfortunately, a large chunk of working capital stays locked as stock. Loan against such inventory as collateral is availed to manage these large stocks and maintain the fluidity of the working capital. Banks and financial institutions finance real estate projects through this method based on a thorough stock valuation. Normally, this is a short-term loan where stock details are shared with the builder finance company periodically. Some of the positive key attributes of inventory finance is that the processing is quick, improves working capital standing, and offers flexible repayment options. Fourth, standard term loan. A builder can also source funds from a bank or an FI in the form of a term loan to finance this real estate project. Mortgage of assets of adequate value, not necessarily or restricted to project assets acknowledged by the lending entity, may be required in such loans. That in this case, too, is normally serviced by cash flow generated from the project. Loan disbursement in this case may either happen in a single tranche or can be split into installments depending on the builder's requirement. Fifth, banks or NBFCs providing finance for construction. Construction loans are provided both for individual consumers looking to build their dream home as well as to builders looking to construct projects for sale. Below are the examples of both types of construction loans and their features. First, HDFC construction loans. This loan offers financial solutions for both individual consumers as well as builders. Based on this type of loan availed, the repayment tenure varies. For loans availed under telescopic repayment option, the maximum loan tenure can go up to 30 years, whereas other home loan options provide a maximum loan tenure of 20 years. Based on The loan amount availed, the maximum funding of the project varies. For loan amounts of up to rupees 20 lakh, the loan would provide a maximum funding of 90% of the project cost. For loan amounts of rupees 30 lakh to rupees 75 lakh, the loan would provide a maximum funding of 80% of the project cost, and loan amounts exceeding rupees 75 lakhs, the maximum funding is 75% of the project cost. The home loans offered under HDFC construction loans come in two main variants. One is an adjustable rate home loan, where the rate of the loan is linked to HDFC's retail prime lending rate (RPLR). In this type of loan, the EMI changes in the direction of RPLR. Any increase or decrease in the RPLR will result in an increase or decrease of the EMI amount. The other variant is a true fixed home loan rate, wherein the initial 2 or 3 years of the loan will have a fixed rate of interest, following which the rate will automatically convert into an adjustable rate for the remainder of the tenure. The construction loans also come in a wide variety of repayment options, such as accelerated repayment, telescopic repayment, step-up repayment facility, and flexible loan installments plan. Aditya Birla Finance Construction Loans. This loan specifically caters to real estate builders and developers. The loan offers builders the finance to meet project building costs against the returns from the project sales. The loans under this plan have a maximum tenure of up to 60 years. The loans require collateral. Collateral can be provided in the form of hypothecation of the project receivables or through the mortgage of the property. Loan amounts can go up to rupees 100 crore, but loan amounts offered at the time of availing the loan will depend on the valuation of the construction cost. The loans can be applied for by salaried or self-employed professionals, sole proprietorships, unlisted companies, and even partnerships. The eligibility for the loan is based on the cash flow of the borrower. Loans can be availed for residential or commercial properties. Loans for residential properties will cover 70% of the cost, whereas loans for commercial properties will cover 65% of the cost of the project. Third, Bajaj Finserv Home Construction Loans. This loan from Bajaj Finserv allows borrowers to construct buildings on empty plots of land and based on the level of construction. Borrowers can place requests for loans which will be disbursed accordingly. The interest is charged only on the money utilized and not on the entire credit amount. The loans come with value-added features such as instant approvals, disbursals within 72 working hours, and low interest rates. The loan has a processing fees of 0.9% of the loan amount availed and levies a penalty of rupees 1,000 for every EMI bounce. Fourth, PNB Housing Loan for real estate developers. Construction finance or project finance is a unique offering under the PNB Housing directly finances real estate developers for projects they are developing. This product comes with customized offerings built around real estate developers' project acquisition and construction cost basis and detailed evaluation of the project by PNB Housing. Fifth, infrastructure finance by UBI. Development of infrastructure projects require large quantum of funds for longer duration. Union Bank of India helps you in raising the funds for financing your endeavor for implementation of these infrastructure projects. Salient features of funding of the real estate projects are generation or transmission of power, developing roads, ports and airports, laying or maintaining pipelines for gas, crude water, setting up industrial parks or special economic zones, telecommunications services, irrigation projects, water treatment plants, sanitation or sewerage systems, construction of buildings for educational institutions, hospitals, warehouses, maximum tenure up to 25 years with option to refinance the same at the end of 5 years. Funds can also be availed in foreign currency, namely buyer's credit or ECB, external commercial borrowings. The Reserve Bank of India's guidelines. The Reserve Bank of India guidelines in this regard is as follows. First, the builders or contractors who generally require huge funds take advance payments from the prospective buyers or from those on whose behalf construction is undertaken and therefore may not normally require bank finance for the purpose. Any financial assistance extended to them by the banks may result in dual financing. The bank should therefore normally refrain from sanctioning loans and advances to this category of borrowers. Second, where contractors undertake comparatively small construction work on their own, namely where no advance payments are received by them for the purpose, the banks may consider extending financial assistance to them against the hypothecation of construction materials, provided such loans and advances are in accordance with the bylaws of the bank. Third, the bank should frame comprehensive prudential norms relating to the ceiling on the total amount of real estate loans, single or aggregate exposure limit for such loans, margins, security, repayment schedule, and availability of supplementary finance, taking into account guidelines issued by the RBI, and the policy should be approved by the bank's board. Fourth, exposure to builders and contractors for commercial real estate will include fund-based and non-fund-based exposures secured by mortgages on commercial real estates, office buildings, retail space, multi-purpose commercial premises, multi-family residential buildings, multi-tenanted commercial premises, industrial or warehouse space, hotels, etc. Further, while framing the policy, the banks may also consider for inclusion the National Bank Building Code NBC, framed by the Bureau of Indian Standards BIS in short. Fifth, banks should undertake a proper scrutiny of the relevant loan applications and satisfy themselves, among other things, about the genuineness of the purpose, the quantum of financial assistance required, creditworthiness of the borrower, his repayment capacity, etc., and also observe the usual safeguards such as obtaining periodical stock statements, carrying out periodical inspections, determining drawing power strictly on the basis of the stock held, maintaining a margin of not less than 40 to 50%, etc. They should also ensure that the materials used up in the construction work are not included in the stock statements for the purpose of determining the drawing power. Sixth, the banks may also take collateral security wherever available. As the construction works progresses, the contractors will get paid, and such payment should be applied to reduce the balance in the borrower accounts. If possible, the banks could perhaps enter into a tripartite agreement with the borrower and his clients, particularly when no collateral securities are available for such advances. Thus, the bank should ensure that the bank credit is used for productive construction activity and not for activity connected with speculation in real estate. Urban cooperative banks should not extend fund-based or non-fund-based facilities to builders or contractors for acquisition of land, even as a part of housing project. Further, wherever land is accepted as collateral, valuation of such land should be at the current market price only. So we have browsed on the bank finance for construction activities and other things associated to this topic. Now I'm going to sign off. You must have enjoyed this video. Please like, share and comment on my videos. Best of luck. Thank you. Break a leg.